Greg Stone.
I'm so glad they laughed. I was like, I'm going to do this religion shit, turn them, and then just see what happens for 45 minutes.
I like them as a crowd. There's a lot of pockets of fun.
No, they're good, yeah,
and
just early.
There's like a few people that are like, we're not sure if we like comedy. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting.
Some people are still on Zoom calls for work. I can just say they're just like, shh, I'm still at work technically.
It's okay. How you doing, man?
Me, I'm great. I'm great. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I didn't know the going blind thing was in America also, because we have that in Haiti.
Oh, yeah, you'll go blind? Because you're masturbating?
Yeah,
that's
is that
old
like a
shit.
thing just parents all over the world made up to scare children from masturbating?
I think a long time ago, a man came in his eye and went blind. That's the only sense I can make of why you'd get that.
The people from Russia, is that a thing there?
Wow, the woman said that. I didn't know they said it to women. I know it's a man thing.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to cover. Let's try to.
Oh yeah, here I am.
How was Corden, by the way?
It was cool. It was fun.
Yeah?
I wanted to do late night my whole life, and, I had given up on it. I was like, it's just not gonna happen. I tried for 15 years, never happened, and I was like, I gave up. And then once I gave up, I got it.
Is that funny how that works?
Yeah, they say don't stop believing. I say stop believing. Stop believing immediately, and then you'll get everything you've ever wanted. You just have to please stop believing. That sounds like a bit almost, but anyway.
It should be a bit.
Yeah,
so they flew you to LA, treated you like a celeb. They flew you to LA.
No. I flew myself. First of all, not only did I fly myself, my wife wanted to go. And I'm like, if you go, who's going to watch the kid? She's like, we'll bring the kid. I'm like, no, we can't bring the kid. This is like the test for me. I have to be ready. So she's like, let me handle it. I'll take care of everything, and you won't have to worry. So she flew herself out. We went together. Me, her, the kid. She then brought her parents, rented a house, and got us a BMW X7. She just rented us this insane car, so I didn't have to deal with any of it. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, she just put it all on the credit card.
Did you marry rich?
No. I married a woman who knows how bad I am with money, and every now and again has saved stuff to go, this is what we do now. She's like, nope. She was like, you cannot buy any of this shit, but in 3 years, I'll fly the family out to LA, and you won't know where that money came from.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
They all came to the taping.
No, they watched the kid. My wife came to the taping.
Oh, okay.
I kind of got a funny story about it.
All right, let's hear it.
So we get on the plane. Now, I don't like flying at all, which is weird as a comedian. I hate flying. So I put I'm so nervous about flying that I wasn't even nervous about doing the show, because I'm like, I'm not going to make the show. I'll be dead. The airplane will crash and I'll be dead. Now you're bringing.
That's a good way to get out of anything. Yeah, I'm dead. I can't do the show.
It's like, I'll be dead, and your asshole, you want to bring the fucking family with us, so we'll all be dead. My kid's going to be dead. You're all going to be dead. I hold the baby. He was so good. 6-hour flight. Didn't cry. We land. We get on the tarmac. He then shits his pants and doesn't stop crying, which is exactly how the set went for me. We go to tape the Corden set, and I'm like, all right, like, I'm there, and I'm not nervous at all, because I'm like, I was more worried about flying. It's fine, great.
Yeah.
We do a thing. I get some, whatever. We go to do the mic check. I walk up to the microphone, and I literally, my head goes, I don't know a single joke I've ever told in my life. And I go, fuck, you're kind of blanking. Shit. I go back to the dressing room. I re-listen to the set 100 times. Like, if you get the first words out, you got it.
Right.
First words, got it, right? I get ready. They call me. I go on. As literally as I'm walking out, I go, oh, it's stand-up. I know how to do stand-up.
Right.
Totally in the pocket. I know my last joke is this mosquito joke. I'm like, that's the last joke I'm going to do. I do the first joke, gets a laugh, keeps going, end on the mosquito joke, and then I'm standing there, and the crowd is looking at me, and then I'm looking at Corden, and he's just looking at me, and now I'm like, why the fuck is this guy? This guy's not going to walk over and say thank you? Because I had this. So I had a bit. I did it when I tipped him $5. I just thought it'd be really funny to tip the late night host. But my whole idea, I was like, oh, I'm gonna tip this guy. When he comes over and he shakes my hand, I'm gonna put $5 in his hand. That's such a fucking Italian move to do. But he doesn't come over. So I'm like, he's not walking over. Why the fuck is this guy? How am I gonna tip him if he's not gonna walk over? So now I'm sitting and I go, and everyone's looking at me. So I look at the crowd and I go, that's it. That's the end of my set. We want more? I go, my wife's crazy. And I started doing crowd work. I start like talking to the crowd, being like, where are you from, pal? And then I look over at Court and he's laughing. He goes, hey man, you gotta say thanks and good night. So I literally did my set, ended on the mosquito joke, and then never said thank you and good night. I just stood there like, now what? Like my child got through the entire flight just to shit on the tarmac. They edited that part out, and then you can't tell, but yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you had a good set, because I watched this set. It was
You
good.
did? You watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but, you know, you're one of those comics that everybody loves, so, you know, I support.
See?
Yeah.
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 No, that's nice. I appreciate it. But a lot of comics will tell you, they're like, hey, you were great. And I go, I didn't think this joke went over. And they went, and you could just see them go, I didn't really watch this guy's set. And you're like, yeah, man, you don't have to. I get it.
Well, they did a good job editing, because I didn't see that part.
They cut that right out.
Yeah.
But if you see me saying goodnight, I'm literally going, good night. Like, I'm literally like laughing for no reason because I had just been standing there for 3 minutes doing crowd work to a studio audience.
That's amazing.
It's wild. But yeah, so that was that.
Well, you know,
And I got
you have a story out of it. There you go.
And I got 30 followers, which was...
That's the amount of people that watch national television now. 30 people.
Okay,
30 got them all.
I got 30 followers and a $4,500 credit card bill. That is what I got.
Show business, baby.
Yeah, it's show business. Show business. But yeah.
Was Corden nice to you? Because the next day, I think a few days after your set, he was trending because he was a piece of shit to servers in a restaurant.
Which is crazy because I literally showed him how to tip. It's like, yeah, man, just do what I did. You'll be great.
Yeah.
He was so nice to me. He was so nice to me. So
But there's
that's
TV nice and there's real nice. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
playing a role.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't kiss me.
Apparently in
or
real
anything.
life is a... Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. But that's that.
So let's get your... Okay, your dad was a comedian.
My dad did stand up. Well, he did stand up.
Wow.
He worked at Lowe's.
I hope your dad doesn't watch this because we're recording this.
No, my dad is one of the funniest people I've ever met in life, and literally was great at stand-up. But he never went all the way. Like he never took the risk, and he never
Right,
went.
the grind of it.
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
my family, we all have crippling low self-esteem, and so I think he just had it first. And I wouldn't be here if not for him. Like, if I wouldn't have seen how good he was, I don't know that I would have ever taken the risk and really went for it.
Did you get started because of him?
No, I didn't know he did stand up. So I knew he used to work at a comedy club as a door guy.
Okay.
As
Which
well.
one?
Bananas in Hasbrook Heights.
Okay, New Jersey.
Yeah. So he worked there, and then I would go there and I would see stand up all the time. And my mom even tells a story because I think I got into it because of him. My mom was like, no. She goes, one of the first things you ever said was, I asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a communist. And then she saw me.
Hold on. Let's not just walk past that. That's crazy. Why would you say that to your mom? What about communism was cool to you? Why did you
I think everyone in this room got it except you.
What? I didn't get it. Please.
Yeah, I was a little kid, and I was watching stand-up.
How old were you?
I was a little kid, and I was watching stand-up, and I literally was like, "Oh, I love communism." Like, but I mixed the
the
words
part of the
up.
story I miss is the part where you were so little you couldn't say comedian. You said communist. I thought you were a
41 now.
teenager. You know?
No, I still
I was
can't
like,
do it.
what?
Sorry to make
Yeah,
you put
it's
you
okay,
on,
it's
you know,
okay.
that. Anything for a laugh, you know. Throw your
and-
friends under the bus.
totally
Look at this asshole, a guy I have to see every night and love. Yeah, I love you. You know I love you. Because I was just thinking this. You and I love to attack the same subjects.
Yes.
Because, we both hate religion.
Yeah.
And we both dress pretty much the same.
I'm the Italian version of you, you're the Haitian version of me. There it is.
I would say you're the Sicilian version of me. That's like an Italian. I don't know. It's the whole thing. I bailed on that joke before the words were out of my mouth.
It's the crippling Catholic low self-esteem.
Yeah, that's right there. Yeah, it's there. But anyway.
Okay, so how'd you officially get started?
In comedy?
Yeah.
Funny you say. 9/11 happened.
Listen, that's a great way to start comedy. You like? You know?
So 9/11 happened. I was dating this girl, and I was in love with this girl.
Yeah.
Her dad was supposed to be in the World Trade Center. So he comes home. So that joke I did, the joke I did about the Bill Cosby joke, I That's not the true story. This is the true story. I had to change it because you can't bring up 9/11 on stage without people just going, ah. So something did weird. So 9/11 happens.
Yeah.
Her dad was supposed to be in the building. He goes, Jesus kept me out of the building because we're good Catholics.
I fucking hate this.
And I
people.
went, you can't do that. What about all the bad stuff? And I wasn't even being a dick. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, and I was still a Catholic at the time, but they were born again Christian, which is like mega. That's like mega.
Yeah,
you know what I
very
mean?
annoying. Yeah.
It's more. They're more Christian, right? So he brings up this thing about 9/11 and how God kept him out of the buildings for that. I made a statement that was like, hey, like this doesn't make sense. What about?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he just take someone out of the plane? Like, does it make any? Why would he keep you but keep all of those people? Like, she gets up, starts crying, goes to her room. Yeah. We had also had sex, and she had a ring that was a chastity ring that she had to take off. So that was that.
You had a girlfriend with a chastity ring?
Yeah, I was in love with her, man. I was in love with her. Her friends used to say that I was the devil tempting her to pull her away from her religion. And when I said that, things made sense. It fucked her up. She broke up with me. She started dating the kid in the Christian rock band. And I went, fuck him. I'm going to prove that she made a mistake. I'm going to go do Conan. 15 years later, I did Conan. 20 years later, I was like, I should have been like, hey, bitch, look at me now. I did a late night show that's ending that no one gives a shit about. Got $1,400 for. So
your start is a revenge story. You wanted to prove your girlfriend.
Well, I always
wrong.
wanted to do comedy, but I wanted to show her that I was like, it was the kick in the
Like,
ass.
I'm cool.
To be like, no, I'm gonna follow my dreams. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the thing.
Yeah.
I started doing bringer shows at Stand Up New York, which was over here, which is down there. First show I did. This is like amazing. My dad pulls me aside. He goes, "You're gonna love doing comedy. Comedy's the best. The best thing about stand-up comedy is." You never know what's going to happen. You got to be ready for anything. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my first show, I go on. For a set list, I wrote down every single thing I ever thought was funny. It's 10 minutes. I must have had at least 50 minutes of ideas for jokes. Have them. Now, when you do stand-up comedy, something that I did not know, and maybe you don't know, is that when you're done, someone will flash a light. You get a light, and then you have 2 minutes to wrap up. No one told me that. So I'm on stage going, and you have an internal clock that develops. Like I can tell you 15 minutes without looking at a clock. You just know it. But I did not have that internal clock yet. So I'm on stage. The light goes on. I do not. I see a light. I go, it's just a light. You know, shit. Like, I have no idea what's happening. Then proceeded to do 5 to 10 more minutes of insanity. Like, no jokes. I'm just like, who's this guy? Are you a pussy? I love pussy. Who's playing? I'm just screaming. God! Just saying wild words. Keep lighting me. He flashes me. I don't know what's happening. Turns my microphone off. I then hear my father say, this is stand-up comedy. Anything could happen. I go, the mic broke. I need to know how to get through this. I put the microphone in the stand. Now I'm yelling to a crowd that all know I need to get off stage. But I have no idea that I need to get off stage.
What a supportive dad.
Music goes on. They turn the music on like the fucking Oscars. I go, fuck, this system is really fucked up. Now the music is playing. I'm now screaming over the music. The booker then shuts all of the lights off. Runs upstage, goes, what the fuck are you doing? And I go, is that my time? He was like, that was everyone's time. And I stopped doing, I didn't do comedy for a year. I'm just kidding. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's an epic first time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of anything can happen, you've had one of those crazy things. I'm not going to tell the story. I want you to tell the story because it's your story, but it's fucking amazing. So you were doing crowd work one time.
Right.
And there was a woman who told you something about having a fucked up family.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did that. So
tell them that story because that was mind-blowing.
Yeah, so I'll tell you that there's some things before that, if you don't mind. That I can add in.
Yeah.
So I was doing stand-up at this club. This is like, the Comedy Cellar is the best club in the world. And it is something that, like, you really, I mean, It's just they can't hear you. It's too early. All the people that matter aren't up yet. So it was my dream to work this club.
Yeah.
I worked this club for about 6 months, and then I don't know why, I just stopped getting booked. And I was like, damn, that was the one thing I had that made me feel like I had achieved anything. Now it's gone.
That was the one thing that could say fuck you to your ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That bitch is married and in love. Anyway, she's got a happy family. She's doing great. So when that went away, I started doing I was working other clubs, and I had this new superpower because I'm like, man, you took the one thing away from me that made me feel like I was something, and I'm still a comedian. Like,
Right.
I'm still a comedian even when I don't have those things. So then I started working other clubs, started getting just better for no reason. I have no idea why. About 6 months later, start getting booked again. And now I'm back and I go, oh, I don't give a fuck if you get rid of me or not. So next time I'm on that stage, that's my stage. It's always my stage. I'm not gonna do the same fucking set. Like I'm gonna just be me and be in the moment.
It's a newfound freedom.
Yeah.
Where like the worst thing that could happen to you happened to you, and now you're free to do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it kind of it frees you to exactly what you just said. I was just repeating what you just said to you, right back to you.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So literally the next set I have, I go on stage, and I always put this one thing in my set where I go, I'll put something in my set, I like to call it a time bomb, where it's like an open-ended question so I can talk to people to just, I like the idea of open, like when I said to you, I was like, who was raised religious, who isn't? I love the idea that I could talk to someone and they could just throw my set right off the fucking rails. Right? I just love this idea of like a time bomb that could explode. So I have an open-ended question. My open-ended question at the time was, I had a fucked up family, anybody else? And then I go, what's your fucked up family? What'd you do? Tell me, and we'll talk about it. So it's usually people go, my dad was religious, or my mom was like, alcoholic. Beat me, the molested, the classics. So I go, you should watch the set for this to make any sense. The comedy gods were on my side that day.
Yeah.
So I go, who's got a fucked up family? And now I would have just, and I go, what do you got? And this lady goes, oh, I don't know if I should say. And I go, no, tell me. I go, whatever you say, I'll make it funny. And she goes, okay. And I go, well, what happened? And she goes, she was like, my mom left my dad, and then my dad murdered my mom. And I was just like, well, here we are, Jesus Christ. Okay, so what am I going to do now? But she was like on board. Now, what crazily had happened that right before she had said that, there's a piano on stage, and as a joke, I hit the piano, and I went, ooh, it went ding, 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 ding. And I was like, oh, it's like a horror movie. So when she said that, I just walked back up to the piano and went, oh, did it sound like this? Bing, 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 bing. And just played the piano, and then she laughed, and then the crowd was like, okay. And then in that moment, I was like, all right, man, you can get back into your set.
Right.
But nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know about.
That's a bum. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, this woman. So then I just kind of like the easy thing, and you see this in all the fucking comments under the YouTube thing, was they're all like, oh, like they always had the same joke, which was like on like bomb, kind of like this, kill, like some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Which was always attacking on the crowd. But that's not who I am. I find that easy. Mm-hmm. I think the real way to go with crowd work is to bring it back to myself and really be in the moment. So what I was doing was like just saying what really was happening in my mind, which was like, man, like I was going to talk about my fucked up family, but that's nothing compared to your fucked up family. Now I feel bad about my dad. Now I'm like, Jesus, I should call my dad. So I'm like, he's a great dad looking back. So then I just kind of went inward. And then that video went viral. It got like 1 or 2 million views or something, which was the biggest thing that had ever happened for me career-wise. And it only happened because I had given up. Because I had said, no, I'm going to just go with whatever this was, which I would not have done if I hadn't gotten fired in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, if like that thing I thought was horrible ended up being great, it literally evolved me as a comedian.
Right.
So
that your message
like
to the kids out there who want to be comedian is give up.
Give up.
That's basically how it works.
Yeah, give up, please. No. The message
Did you talk to that woman afterwards?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, she was cool.
How is she doing?
She was great. No, she was like, no, I mean, like, and throughout, as this is happening, I'm literally looking at her and can see I couldn't see that she was on board, and the crowd
Right.
see it was everyone is on board. Like, I don't want someone to come to a comedy show and me be like, hey, what do you do? And someone's like, I'm a proctologist. Well, you're a fag. It's like, who wants that? That's so like people come to shows and they're on dates and then you're mean to them. Like, they're literally, if you do that to every person, no one's gonna be here.
Right.
Like, and it's easy. Mean is fucking easy.
Crowd work is not cool.
It's so easy. In my opinion, it's easy.
It is easy, and I think sometimes part of the reason comedians get mean quickly is because it's a quicker way to be funny.
Right.
Because sometimes it's hard to sit in the discomfort of I'm talking and there's nothing funny yet.
Right.
So I gotta find a quick way to get out of it. So let me just shit on your place, where you from, or whatever it is, and that gets you something to go.
And this is the thing I really believe in. It also makes you the alpha immediately. And what I think people don't understand in general is that toughness doesn't make you the alpha. If you can be vulnerable and you can say, this is who I am, if you can walk naked through the streets, you are way tougher than the soldier with the armor on.
Fucking
you know what I mean?
Renee Brown over here.
No, but it's so true.
I like that a few people got that reference.
I know, I didn't get it, so I just moved on. I don't really read. And I was like, don't let them dwell on this.
It's a woman who does talks about being vulnerable. Renee Brown, some woman from Texas. She's very big.
Oh, she's very big? Yeah, good. I love that.
She had a Netflix special.
Sorry. Yeah, no, but it's something I really, truly believe in. It's like, comedy has kind of taught me that, like,
yeah, I agree.
Your vulnerabilities are what makes you funnier.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay, so what year did you start?
2000. I don't know if you remember the tragedies of 9/11, but they were.
That was the exact year. Oh, my bad. I was in Haiti. I was a teenage boy. I don't remember the year. Honestly,
Literally,
I don't even remember which year 9/11 happened.
Literally, never forget, dog.
What year? 2002.
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in high school, I think. Yeah.
You're in high school. What year did you graduate high school? 2000. I feel like we're the same age. No. What?
Didn't you say you're 40? I'm not 40.
How old are you?
33.
What?
Yeah.
No wonder. No wonder what? I don't even know. No, I thought you don't.
No.
I mean, no. The way we talk makes me think that you were older than that. And
Okay, I'll take that. Is that good or bad?
No, a lot of 33-year-old comedians they're not like they're step on your neck. They need this at all costs. They're not really comfortable.
Got you. Yeah.
They're too horny for comedy, you know?
Oh, all right. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, 9/11 was in 2001.
Yeah.
Which I just learned.
Do you miss Haiti?
If I miss it, yes,
Yeah.
I do.
So would you say you love me? I'm gonna wait. I've been sitting on this for 3 years. Lovey, it's like Haiti, it's the opposite. It's the worst joke I ever said in my life. And I can feel the crowd literally going, fuck you. Fuck you for
They're
doing
like, what
that.
the fuck is this? Me and the crowd, we're in the same boat. We're like, what are you talking about, Greg? Jesus Christ.
I don't even care about it. I was like, you miss Haiti? Sure, I was just doing a stupid joke. So stupid. But I love dad jokes. I'm a dad now. That's what I do.
Yeah, you gotta have some jokes for the kid.
Yeah. So what were you saying? What was I saying when I derailed this whole thing for a dumbass?
Oh, it's fine.
A dumbass thing.
So how'd you meet your current wife?
I met my wife. I used to work in an ER. I worked in an emergency room for 5 years before I did comedy. I was a patient satisfaction coordinator, which was a bullshit title.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
So I worked in an ER. So
patient satisfaction coordinator.
yeah, I'll tell you.
Is that customer service for ER?
Hang tight, and I'll get you there.
Okay.
So I bombed a show so bad. My mom was there. She goes, you can't do this. She goes, you need a real job. She got me a job, $8 an hour as a transporter in the X-ray department. I then met these other people who wore lab coats, and they were called clinical information management. It was like what they would do is they take the notes for the doctors. They would do all the note taking, and they got paid $20 an hour. And I was like, can I do that? And they were like, yeah, you can do this. You could just apply and you could do this. So I started doing that job. I was so bad. I have ADD, ADHD, central processing disorder. I have all the D's. If it's got a D, I got it in there. Dyslexic, I got it all. I was so bad at the job that they pulled me aside. They're going to fire me. They're
Yeah.
like, you're spelling everything wrong. Your grammar is bad.
Oh God.
It's like we can get sued. They pull me in the room and they go, "We're gonna fire you. We're really sorry." And I had these red glasses, so I used to wear these red glasses because sometimes my contacts I would cry and my contacts would come out because people die in the emergency room and it's very sad. And I wasn't really prepared for that. So I would wear these red glasses when my contacts would come out. So they see the red glasses and the doctor goes, "Do you wear those all the time?" And I went, "I wear them sometimes." And he goes, "Are you talking to patients?" And I said, "Well, sometimes if they need something, I'll go in and I'll talk to them."
Yeah.
They go, "We've been getting letters that say the doctor with the red glasses was the only person who listened to me." Yeah, and they were like, "Our patient satisfaction scores are through the roof randomly only when this doctor with the red glasses were around, and no one knows who he is." They go, "You are fired from writing anything down. You are now Patch Adams. You come here, you talk to all the patients. They won't know they're waiting 9 hours for a CAT scan. Our patient satisfaction scores will go up, and that is triple the price of what we need you doing. That's what your new job is."
Holy moly.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so I just literally walk in and be like, how's the food? You know, and I would just do crowd work to dying people.
Hell yeah.
All the time.
It's a good. Whenever you have a crowd.
Yeah, I'll do
Just
anything for a
fucking
bit.
So
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine who went to study medicine. He started being a doctor in Mexico.
Right.
And then we had a WhatsApp group. And he would
which one?
share this little, you know what WhatsApp is? It's an app that
WhatsApp,
immigrants
sorry.
use.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
No,
Anybody who's
that
not
was
from
on me.
America knows what WhatsApp is. Yes? Correct. Cool. So he would send us like pictures of what's going on over there.
Right.
And mainly, I don't know if it's similar to your ear, but what really people go to the ER for is putting stuff in their butts.
Yeah, that happens. 3 a.m. You're almost setting me up for a joke I used to do in 2004. But no, yes, absolutely. 3 a.m. You're seeing people come in for chest pain, abdominal pain, or they've put something in their body they can't get out. Also, when you work in the X-ray department, they have an entire file of all of the X-rays that they've taken over the years. They cut the names out, HIPAA, but they keep the X-rays, my friend. And when I was in X-ray, I saw it more in X-ray than I did when I was in the ER.
What's the worst thing that you saw that someone put in there?
Worst or weirdest? There is a difference.
Let's start with worst and then we'll get to weirdest.
Worst it was a guy. It's always a guy. It's what women know to have an exit strategy. You're like, make it small, make it taper, tie a string. Guys, we're so homophobic that we don't. They just stick anything up their butt. It was a guy. It was like a 12-inch double-sided dildo that he shoved up that perforated his colon. And then I had to be with him he had to go into emergency surgery. So I was just with him the whole time, and it was like a whole thing. That was the worst because that was like the most emergent.
What
was standard practice.
What kind of crowd work do you do with guys like that? What do you say to them? How do you make him feel better? Jesus Christ. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the worst. What's the weirdest?
A few. There was egg.
Egg as in like a boiled egg?
Yep, egg in a guy's butt, which I think is weird, because it's like, what, are you trying to give birth? What's happening here? Or are you just trying to see what it's like to be do you identify as a chicken? Most of the time it's a guy.
Was it raw or he boiled it and then peeled it and put it?
Had to have been boiled. You know, time takes its toll on the memory. I only remember the picture of the X-ray with the egg and us being, just...
Seems like it would break before it gets in there, no?
You'd think, I guess. I don't know. Those eggs are pretty strong. I think it had to have been hard-boiled, I guess. And I will say this. There's also a possibility it was plastic. I don't really remember the exact thing.
Okay, yeah. Could have been an Easter egg.
It could have been one of the greatest Easter egg hunts.
Classic.
And he's just like, I put $500 in there. No one can find it. And he's just, you'll never get this.
Children, keep looking.
There's a reason I'm king. But weirdest was a woman. And again, 99% of the time, not a woman. There was a woman, and she had put a Doritos bag. It was a Doritos bag, which...
front or back?
In her vajayjay. It was in her vagina. And it was not full, it was empty.
In her vagina.
It was empty, and she couldn't get it out. And I used to do a bit about it. I used to go like, I don't know what guy was like, we don't We don't need condoms. Fuck it. Cool Ranch. Like, I don't know what. I don't know. Like, I don't know why she did it, but that was weird. Toy car is a classic. You see a bunch of those. You do not, and I repeat because I hate it, you do, no animals. Everyone always says, gerbil? No, that's not real, okay? That was a fucking thing made up in the 80s, and I've never seen a the fuck out. That's a lot. It's like a thing that doesn't really happen, but it's a common misnomer.
Imagine that you go to medical school. You become like a
Doctor.
respected doctor.
Yeah.
Surgeon or whatever
Sure.
it is, and then you in the ER and you gotta take a Doritos bag out of a woman's vagina.
Right. So my best friend Darren, who actually does a lot of work, and he's an ER doctor. He works in Haiti a lot. He is the leading doctor in removal of foreign objects from the body, from
What a
butts and
title.
vaginas. Yeah, he's like a master at it. I don't know what makes you a master. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. I had no idea.
Doritos bag. That's definitely weird.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely weird. But that's also like, those aren't the stories. I got a fun story. This is one of my favorites.
I think we want it. Hell yeah, we want it. Fuck it.
A lot of these, and that's why I have a problem with knowing what people find gross or weird or dark, because when you see dead people all the time, you just like, death doesn't really
Nothing
bother me.
can faze you. Yeah.
Dirty shit. So then I say things, people go, oh, right, that's too far. I forgot. My bad.
No, this crowd is ready for anything. Am I right?
Well, this is a little. So this isn't a big deal. I'll just tell you this one. One of my favorite stories was one of my best friends was a resident. So he was almost a doctor, or he was a doctor, but he's like almost a full doctor.
All right. Okay.
And so there's a patient that was staying he was in the ER for a few days. They didn't have a room for him upstairs. He had abdominal pain, and no one could figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, we got to figure out what. Like, we don't know what could be any of these things. And so my friend Mike, he asked me, is there anything weird that you can tell me at all about this? And he goes, well, when I pee, I fart. And my friend Mike was like, well, that makes sense. You're straining. It could happen. And he goes, no, I'm farting out of my penis. And I went, what? Right? And he's like, so what happened was, there's a thing called a fistula where the tubes kind of fuse together.
Yeah.
And it could literally happen that poop could come out as weenie. So they had kind of fused together, and so that's why he was having abdominal pain, and the gas...
Listen, I don't want any odds. You said you were ready for this, all right?
So they were all like, fuck, this is awesome. At least we know now what it is. Guy has surgery. A few days later, he's in his room. The doctor's asking him, he's like, hey man, like, how you doing? He goes, pull my finger. Pulls his finger, he farts, and the doctor goes, what side was that? He goes, I don't know! Like, he just laughed about it. And I was like, oh, that guy's awesome.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Human body's full of mysteries.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't know your interviewing process, but if I have a million, so you can move on, or you can say, hit me with another one. I got a billion of these.
We'll see. There's a couple of things I want to get to.
Good.
I like
yes,
your
of course. You like my life.
Yeah, you have an interesting life.
That's very nice.
You like what people call an older dad. You just became a dad.
Oh, this is the first time.
Wow. That's the older dads over there. Just trying to, like, I'm 60. I will be dead by the time my child is in high school. That's like,
first of all, that's the move. Okay? I'm like, no, man, do it, live your life and do it at the end, or either get pregnant when you're 15 or when you're 50. Those are the two best ways to do it. It's the two best ways. Because 15, right. You're just done. When you're 30, you're like done. And
yeah,
you're
you
like,
go to the club with your kid.
Live your whole life.
You're like living it together.
And when you're 50, you have like the wisdom, and you can actually like tell this kid real shit, and you can actually be there, and you know what's important. Like, I know what's important now with my kid. Right. I'm taking every minute of it. Like, my wife asks me, I put him down every night. If he needs to go down, I put him down. I never say no. I spend every fucking second I can just eating these moments, because I'm like, this is what I know. I've been through life, and I now know what's important, and this kid is important.
Yeah. How old is he now?
35. No. He's exactly 1 year. He's exactly
1 year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
So, there's all the cliche stuff, that people hear, like, oh, now I feel this love that I never thought I could feel before because now I have a kid. What are some of the non-cliche stuff that happened to you when you became a dad?
So the cliche stuff is real, but I understand it better now. So it's not as cliche. It's not that it's this love that I never felt before. Well, first of all, it's very weird to be like, well, what's crazy is I haven't fallen in love in 15 years. I've been with my wife for 15 years. The last time I fell in love was with her.
Right.
Now I have this kid, and I fell in love again, and I forgot what nervous love is like. Like when I met I used to be like, now I'm like, when he goes to sleep, I stare at him, and I'm like a creep. I'm just looking at him. I give a shit. I kiss him on the lips. I'm Me Tooing the shit out of this guy. I don't know fuck. I don't really care. So it's weird to get that, scared. I haven't had scared love in forever. Now this kid's
what is scary about it?
What is scary about it is I no longer care about myself. I only care about him.
Right.
If anything happens to him, I'm fucking. I used to think I love my wife. Fuck my wife. I love this kid. It's like, if my wife died, I'd be heartbroken, but I'd also be like, yeah, I'll get a new wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you feel.
But if your kid dies, you can make a new kid.
No, I become the Punisher. If my kid dies, point me to a congressman we don't like. I'm taking people out. I no longer give a fuck about anything. I'm gonna just sacrifice my shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. If my kid, I don't know how to. It's like if my kid goes, it's out. Or I do think I know. Weirdly, I don't want to put this to the test, but it's like I think I understand life better. This is the thing that gets me mad about religion. This is why I really get mad. People go, why do you talk so much about religion? Because religion pisses me off. Because I know now what I know what it is. I know what life is. Okay, we're just this matter that somehow happened through chance, and we exist. And then you die, and when you die, it's over. Okay, I get that, and that is much easier to understand if you didn't have religion. All religion does is it forces immortality. And because we're have this forced idea of immortality, going to heaven, all that, people are afraid, it makes you not comfortable with what real death is.
Yeah, you're afraid to live.
And when I'm even saying, you think you're going to heaven, but you're afraid of death. And when you're afraid of that shit in this weird way, it's like, people don't act right. I can't explain they don't act right. But if we were all comfortable with what real death was, you go, look, what is death? Well, it's exactly what you were before you were born. You're not in pain, you're not anything. It's just boop. And you'd understand how short time is. And when I say how short time is, people don't get it. Think about how much time existed before Earth.
Yeah.
Infinite. Yeah. And then infinite that way. And then you're alive for 80 years maybe. The chances that it's right now is happening is a gajillion to 1. Do you know how fucking insane it is that we just are existing right? You know how much time you're not gonna be alive? Be in this moment now. Be here and love things, and don't just wait for heaven where it's all gonna be good. That's a sound but we are. No offense. Never mind. We're currently.
It's okay. Get it out. We're here for you. Get it out.
We are all currently slaves, right? And I believe that.
What? Oh, is that why you said no offense?
Yeah. Because I knew where this was going, and I was like, this is gonna be a thing. No, but I
don't give a shit.
I know you don't, but they were gonna give a shit for you. I knew that was gonna happen. But when I talk about slavery, people get offended. They're like, no, you don't understand what slavery used to be. I go, no, that was the first incantation of slavery. That slavery would have never lasted because people revolt. They've just evolved slavery to what we are now. You are born into I'm not like a libertarian or any of that shit, but I'm just saying you are born into a place immediately in debt, immediately having to do this shit, and we don't fight back, and we don't get any of it because you just have this idea of heaven. You have this idea of an afterlife. You'll get taken care of later.
Right.
Poor people should be like, fuck this. Storm the Capitol. It's. But
don't give this crowd any idea, okay?
I know that sounds crazy, but I do think that religion gives people, even if it is real, live like it isn't. Live like it isn't because we're all getting fucked. We are kind of getting fucked, and we shouldn't let that happen.
It gives people hope,
right?
But the hope that it gives them is the type of hope that you can only have by not actually looking at reality the way it should be, the way it actually is.
Right.
Because reality, if you look at it really the way it is, it's kind of dark.
No, depression isn't an illness. Depression is people having legitimately seeing what the world really is.
Right. 'Cause
Depression is literally go, oh yeah, we're just a rock, love doesn't exist,
Yeah.
nothing is here,
Right.
we're all gonna die. Yeah, you are right. You are right.
the world is fucked.
Antidepressants are just drugs that keep you fucking happy.
Right. So, because people don't want to look at that because it's too much, so
Right.
they go to religion. They go to some hopeful place.
And I get that, but when my religion was taken from me, I don't know why it's taken from me. When it clicked for me, and I went, oh my God, everything I believed is bullshit. I had to rebuild myself. I had to recheck everything, like what's real, what's right, what's wrong, and that was a lot of work. And so I understand, and like, there are people who have like this, and I'm sure you come out fully, and I mean, when you really come out, you have family that's going to be like, no, we're out. Fuck you. Like, they'll leave you. You risk losing your family, your people around you. That is a wild... I completely understand why people would just be like, oh, I'll just hang on and not rebuild their house brick for brick. Like, I completely understand that. But they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. When you're born, you should be like, yeah, man, this is all beautiful because it's insane. It's like, it is beautiful because of how limited it is. The idea that the universe, there's no life proven... There's no proven life anywhere else except this small ass place.
You're extremely lucky to be here.
To have consciousness, to be a thing that goes, what am I? To be a thing that literally looks around and goes, what is this? Mm-hmm. You're so fucking lucky that you should just sit here and enjoy that and not just go, God's plan. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's too easy. And even if it exists, I say live like it doesn't exist. And if he's up there, he'll look at you and go, yeah, man, you were still a good person, so you can come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be based on whether or not you love this guy. Also, sorry, he made a place. He made heaven, right? And then said, in order for you to get here, you gotta do that one first. No, just have us start there. Why didn't he just put everyone in heaven and go, if I don't like you, I'll tell you to leave? Like, God is wildly passive-aggressive.
So Earth would be the punishment.
Sorry, I've been screaming, I honestly think, for 30 minutes.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I don't look at you in fear of the religious people in the crowd who are just going... I'm sure there's no one's doing that.
Is there anyone here who's genuinely religious? Clap if you are.
No, it's okay. It's okay, and I would never be
I
mean
grew
to
up
anyone.
Christian. That was my thing. But now I don't have a religion, but I like the philosophy of Buddhism because I like the premise of it. The premise of Buddhism is very simple. There's no God per se. It's more like, listen, life is suffering, and here's a couple ways I've found that makes your suffering less.
Right.
You can meditate, you can do a couple of good things, you can just treat people the way you want to be treated. All nice things that make sense to an average human being, as opposed to, oh, there's this place where if you don't masturbate and if you don't do anything, you'll eventually get there. The premise of Christianity is too much.
This is a wild thing that I believe, that I don't know, I'm sure there's a religion that does this, but I don't believe that life is suffering. Well, I do. And it's life, all you have to be...
We just said how dark reality is. There is suffering in life.
Sure, right? But don't look at happiness and sadness or whatever, suffering and non-suffering. I mean, this is the way I kind of look at it, and it's definitely a privilege of not being in a place where I'm being murdered.
Guys, we'll do a couple of fart jokes in a second, but we're trying to talk about
look
this
at it
for a
like
second.
a spectrum, right? It's not up and down, good, bad. It's happy. It's flavors, you know. And sometimes bad is just. I try to say like suffering, and when I'm suffering, it's just tasting life. You're just getting the real spectrum of life. Because everything is horrible. Because we're all going to die and nothing really matters. People say Black Lives Matter. I'm sure they do, but no lives matter, okay? None of our lives matter, no matter what. Wow. It was hard for me to say that. I was like, yeah, they do. But
And
also
today is the
does.
day Gladstone got canceled, everybody.
I was going for a joke because I feel like I needed a joke.
That was your last time doing Corden. It's over, buddy. It is over.
No, but life doesn't. Life only matters to the people you
none
behind.
of us matter.
Of
None
course.
of us matter.
But when I say that is like if you want your book. If you read a book that said the guy was born, he got a lot of money, rock and roll, right to the end. You're like, this is a dumb book. You need torture and suffering to taste all of life.
Yeah.
So like that's what I got from working in the ER was seeing a lot of these people like who went through stuff and who've gotten over it. And you look at like the rich people are just as happy and sad. They have the same spectrum as a poor person who never has any money. Same spectrum of happy and sad. We go, that's not good, that's not good. But it's like no matter where you are, all happiness really is your own brain giving you dopamine, just giving you drugs, you know what I mean? So it's like, Mandela, who's in prison, managed to find, like, there are monks who've just, in suffering, can still find happiness. So it's all perspective. It's all just training your mind
It is.
to be happy when you
But
can't be.
doesn't-
That was
okay.
a lot of jumble.
Life doesn't matter, but doesn't it start to matter when you find something you care about? Like having a kid, I'm sure makes your life matter more now. You don't think so?
Not that it. So I want to live for my son.
So your
that
life
he-
matters now more.
No, because then he'll be dead, and then we'll all
Yeah,
be dead.
but you
and
get
none of
to
it matters.
live with half of you.
It depends
and that's
how
cool.
zoomed in on the microscope you are, right? So if I'm zoomed in, my life matters right now to all these people in this room who don't. If I was just to die, that'd be really effective, and it'd be really sad for people to watch, right? So yeah, it's my life. But if you zoom out, in 50, 80 years, my life didn't matter.
Yeah, but you can't
When the
live in a
sun
place
burns
where you
out-
zoom out. You
What?
can't live there. The place that's zoomed out.
That's
you can't
all
live
life is. And I say life is zooming in. Life is zoom into this very moment.
Right.
And be in the moment.
there. Correct.
Breathe in and
Yeah.
just fake a smile, right? But then also the zoom out is you go, the sun will burn out and all life will eventually be nothing. So fucking rock and roll, baby. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I didn't come prepared. I went to one semester of community college. So I'm not I don't know how to articulate a lot of this, but it's what
But
gets me through.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I get it. What's your son's name?
I'm not telling you. I don't want these people to know. No. Calvin. My son's name is Calvin, after Calvin and Hobbes.
Who's that? I don't know who that is.
It's a Haitian comic. No, it's a comic strip. Calvin and Hobbes is like this really great comic strip, which...
Oh, I'm sorry. I know you were a nerd. So I'm not big in that world.
No, I know, but this isn't not really nerdy shit. This is like a...
It's not?
No, it's not like a comic book. It was
Do you guys know Calvin Hobbes or whatever? Yeah. Maybe it's the Haitian thing. Maybe I don't know what it is.
Also, you're young. It could be the age thing. Like, you may have missed the Calvin and Hobbes, because... No? Okay.
Somebody is very...
No. Well, it's a
Very
lot of
direct.
things. Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the thing about Calvin and Hobbes was that Bill Watterson wrote it, and he would never give up the rights. So you'll never
Yeah.
see a Calvin and Hobbes movie. Whenever you see like a Calvin, you've seen Calvin. He's usually pissing onto like a Ford logo. They usually have him like he's a little kid. He's pissing onto like a thing. It says Ford. Those are all illegal. So he
Yeah.
would never sell the rights. So when I originally wanted to name my kid Peter Parker, and my wife had no fucking way. She was like, we're not doing that. And one of the main reasons, she was like, these Marvel movies, they're all going to get like remade, and you don't even know what's going to happen to these licenses. It's like, but with this, it won't ever change. So
Yeah.
she's like, no, you like Calvin and Hobbes, we can name him Calvin. So we named him
Okay.
Calvin and Hobbes, yeah. Plus, one other thing, so sorry, my wife used to call him calamari when he was born, so we wanted to call him Cal. So she was like, oh, my little calamari in there. And I was like, all right, so it was like a little mix of,
Okay, that's
yeah.
sweet.
So that's that.
All right. Okay, after all that, talk about life not mattering. Let me get something sweet out of you. How
Sure.
did you meet the wife that you fell in love with?
Oh, I
How'd
remember when you
meet
asked me
her?
that 40 minutes ago, and then
No,
somehow I
what?
got into...
No, that was
The ER.
We were talking about comedy and yeah.
You did,
let's
but I
get back to
literally...
it. Yeah, how'd you meet
stepped.
her?
So when I worked in an ER, she was a nutritionist. Well, she was
And
going
she
to
had something up her butt.
I wish. I wish. I wish. She was best friends with one of the people I worked with.
Yeah.
We met. We went on a ski trip. I tried to make out with her. She went, "No way, dude." And I was
Hold on,
like,
your first move was to try to make out with her?
"Oh, we were hanging out all day," and I went to kiss her, and she said no. And then, like a few weeks later, we were still hanging out because we kind of become friends.
Uh-huh.
And I said to her, I tricked her. I tricked my wife. I tricked her into loving me. We were hanging out in a car, and I went, "Thank God nothing happened between us because my friend Alan likes you. So no matter what, nothing can ever happen between us."
Uh-huh.
And she was like, "Huh?" She was like, "No, I know." And I was like, "I know you feel it. I know I feel something, but we can't give in. We cannot give in to the temptation because I would never do that to my friend."
Yeah.
To
yeah.
me, 2 hours later, I'm up in them guts. That's how I met her.
I'm sure your wife would love to hear this. That you
Also,
were up in this gut.
Who was the engaged person? Do you mind if I ask? They were engaged, then you're engaged? How long were you engaged?
1 year.
You've been engaged for a year? How long are you together with her?
1.5.
Oh, wait, my friend. Wait, there's no rush. Wait. So you're together total 1.5? So after half a year, you got engaged? Good for you? No, that.
Was that too soon or what happened?
No.
What's your take on it as a
I'm with
married
my
man?
wife 14 years, married for 4. I waited 10. That is how you do it, my friend. I am sorry. There is no rush. There's no rush. No, I'm literally launching into a bit. I'm going to have to turn the bit off. But there's no rush for any of that because, like, marriage is, it's a $300 to get divorced. No, but there's no need for it. There's no real need for it anymore.
I mean, if you've been with somebody for 10 years, then nothing is going to change after you get married other than a piece of paper. So
my
it's the
wife
same.
lived with me with 2 other comedians. One guy whose name was Mad Dog. Okay.
You put that woman through hell, Jesus Christ.
So she passed the
How'd you even
test.
so Mad Dog has heard you have sex?
No, because we didn't have sex for about 8 years. No, he probably did. We heard him having sex. I'll tell you that much. That guy's got a big old dick. James Matter, he's a comedian. He's a sweet guy, big old hog. Yeah, we lived together, and she was with me when I made $7,000 a year for 3 years in a row.
Pretty good money. Yeah.
Yeah. So we maintained.
That's a real woman right there. She
She's a great human
struggled
being.
with you.
Yeah, she was through the hard shits. And I always knew we would get married. Then I found out when I did propose, she was kind of alluded to the fact that the reason we didn't was because I had debt, and she didn't want to take on my debt. So that literally, the minute I paid off, I got a writing job. I went from $7,000 a year. The next year, I made $150,000 a year.
Wow.
I got a writing job.
Stop bragging, Greg. Jesus Christ.
I don't make that now. I was just made that 1 year. But to go,
You've
I
been
was,
to the mountaintop.
and then immediately fell off. Immediately rolled down the hill. But when we got that job, I paid off all my debt. I was able to get rid of that shit. And my wife was like, I'd get married if you want. And then I realized that she didn't want to get married because she didn't want to take on my debt. She's like, I'm going to wait till this guy, I'll be with him forever, but I'm not taking on that. She's like, we'll just, whatever.
Smart.
Then when we got married, I was planning a wedding. I was trying to plan the wedding, and she was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, I don't want to. I was like, whatever you want to do, we'll do. And she kept being like, and she literally looks at me and she goes, I don't want to do anything. She goes, I don't want a wedding. I'm doing this for you. And I went, well, I don't want a fucking wedding. So we got married a week later at City Hall, and then went to see Boyz II Men. And it was the best time of my life. Yeah.
I think that's a perfect place to end this with a happy story of your beautiful wedding / non-wedding.
Thanks.
All right.
How do I
Final
respond?
question. You guys had a good time, right? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let you go, but final question that I like to ask all of my guests before I let them go is, what would you like your tombstone to say?
It's funny that you say this because I legitimately don't. When I'm dead, I don't give a fuck. Like you could literally fling. I say I want you to put my body under a catapult and fling me into the water as a bit. Do a bit with my body.
Yeah.
But I guess if I could reword that, is what I hope that I am.
Yeah.
And not like what I hope that I am what I think I am, which is I put comedy. Now a lot of comedians are psychopaths because they said I want to be a comedian, then I want to be rich, then I want to be whatever. They did in a line. When I got into comedy, and I think this is why I'm not famous, is because that I wanted to be a good person. I'll be a good person, then I'll be a comedian. Now I want to be a good person, good father, then comedian. So I hope that when I die, people go, man, he was he made people's lives better. Like he was a good person who made people's lives better, and I was able to transfer that to other humans as well. You know what I mean?
That's
what I
beautiful.
want. Yeah, thanks.
That's beautiful. Greg Stone, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
you guys for hanging out with us and spending your Wednesday. Please tip your wait staff, and I hope you had a good time. We'll be back here November 9th for the New York Comedy Festival with a very special guest. I hope you return. Enjoy your Wednesday. Thank you.